rev her up a little. Yeah, dude. She's alive! Our engine temps look good. They were not looking good there for a minute. I saw 230 degrees there. Had a bunch of air bubbles in the system. But now we got heat. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, turn it off. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Last night was a long night. I fought with those coolant lines just like I thought I would, and there was a very simple solution to the problem. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I fought myself, basically, is what ended up happening. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's scoot under the car. Ugh. So right now everything's kind of leak free. I ended up filling up the transmission. New filter, oil is nice and fresh. So up here is where the coolant hoses connect to the engine from the car. And yeah, you can see, but you really can't see. And that was the problem I was running into, because I could kind of see what I was doing. And I could feel around in there, but I could not get those clamps to go onto the coolant inlet tubes, pipes, whatever you want to call them, the various points where they connect. And what I ended up having to do after, I fought this thing for probably an hour, hour and a half trying to get those on in this position here. What I ended up doing was actually a real simple solution. I just took this dog bone off, and I was able to move the engine out of the way enough that I could get in there with my hand and actually move stuff around and get a better feel for things. And once I was able to do that, it only took me 20 minutes from there to get it all done, bolted back on. So I literally fought with this for too long when the solution was really simple. So just a word to the wise guys. Sometimes don't go overboard. Look for the easy solution. It kind of bit me there, but it's all a learning experience for me. Coolest thing about this car is there's only a few things that actually connect to the car. Coolant hoses being one. The brake lines over here, as well as the wheel speed sensors. You know, they connect, wheel speed sensors connect up over here, and brake lines connect over there. And parking brake cable, and that transmission cable, and that's about it. Everything else just plugs in. So this was actually a real simple, real basic install. I did make sure that there is movement on that coolant hose that was pinched. That would be this one right here. This was the one that was pinched between the AC lines last time. I made sure that that moves nice and freely up here where the subframe meets the body of the car. There's plenty of room in there, so I don't think this is going to have that same issue that it did before. But let's scoot out of here for a minute. Yes, it was a bit of a struggle, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was late, and sometimes you get a little loopy and you get a little hard-headed. At least I know I do when it gets late and you're just trying to get something done. But I didn't want to admit that I had to take stuff back apart that I already put back together. But found out that if I had just done that in the first place, it would have taken me a lot less time. But whatever, it happens. So I am going to be bleeding the brakes. Once I bleed the brakes, I'm going to actually lower the car back down. I'm going to hook up my vacuum bleeder to the cooling system, and I'm going to put a vacuum on the coolant system to make sure that there's no leaks. And then once I determine that there's no leaks, I'm going to then bleed the cooling system, and then we're going to see if everything works. But good progress. Like I said, I was here way too late last night, but today refreshed and ready to go. So I'm just going to bleed these brakes now. I'm going to show you a trick. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I've done this a couple times before, and I've had good luck with it. But yeah, here goes nothing with that. Now, since this isn't actually a full-on air bleed, I might have a couple little bubbles in the system. I can actually do this little trick here. It's what I do to actually flush brakes when I'm by myself. It makes it easier than calling somebody over and doing the old up down trick. So this is what I do. Here, I'll show you. So I just rig up a hose. It doesn't have to be clear. This is just clear so that you guys can see the fluid going through the hose itself. Any hose will work, something that fits on the bleeder there. And then you just want to make sure that that hose goes up, because when you push the fluid out, it's going to get trapped in this hose here, and no air essentially will go back in when you release the pedal. So the first couple pumps, you want to pump it kind of quickly, because you want to push quite a bit of fluid out into this tube here. And then once it gets so high, it'll only go back so far, and you know, fluid won't be putting air bubbles in your system. So I'm just going to show you how that works now. Alright, so first thing we do, come back here and loosen the bleeder. I already made sure that that loosened before I started. It's a good idea to do that, which I did, and so that's good there. Alright, you come in here and you just start pumping the brakes. Now you should be able to feel the pedal push down. That's actually pushing fluid out back there, so you know that that's at least getting the fluid out. And you don't have to do a lot, just a couple times there. That should be good. We'll take a look back at the fluid coming out. So as you saw, filled up this hose here. This entire hose is full of brake fluid and not air. So that's just one way that you can quickly flush fluid out of your system, or in my case, there's probably little air bubbles from disconnecting the brake lines there. But this thing is good to go. Just tighten this bag up. We make sure that we have a nice, good, solid pedal, which pedal feels nice and solid now. Good to go. Just gonna throw the wheels back on this sucker and get her back on the ground and start filling up the cooling system. Getting close. And yes, guys, I torque stuff down because it doesn't take that long to do, and like I said, I don't want to destroy the bearing. So the torque spec on this axle is 22 foot-pounds. Let me do that again. I think I was already at 22. Loosen that. Tighten it. I think I was already at 22 foot-pounds. Yes, 22 foot-pounds. And then do an additional 90 degrees. So we want to go 90. We're going to start here and we're going to end somewhere around here. It'll be about 90. Somewhere in there. And there you go. That's torque, quick and easy. Boom.
You need a hammer?
No, I don't need a hammer, buddy.
Hammer.
There we go. Ah, there's the hammer. Oh, thank you, dude. What's up, Dawson?
Good.
Get up from your nap? I think we're ready to start the smart car, dude. Are you excited? You want to start it up? Alright, I think what we're going to do first, well, I know what we're going to do first, is we're going to bleed the cooling system. We're going to put coolant in this. And then, yeah, you can start her up. What do you think, dude?
Where did you put the key?
Your key's inside.
Oh.
But look, dude, what do you think? The engine's in. This was a lot of hard work, buddy boy. You helped out tremendously, dude. That was awesome. Now we'll get to go drive it down at the fire station like you wanted to. As long as it starts and runs and doesn't overheat. But I'm going to now bleed the cooling system. Alrighty, Dawson. So this is called a vacuum bleeder. Now what this does is just like a vacuum cleaner. It sucks all the air out of the cooling system and holds vacuum pressure in the cooling system. Alright, now as long as it holds the vacuum pressure, that means essentially we don't have any leaks. So first thing we have to do is hook up our air. Don't wiggle that, don't wiggle that, because you can create an air leak. Hook up our air, we'll open this valve, and then that draws vacuum. So we're at about 30 inches of vacuum or so. We'll close this valve here. Unhook our air. And then as long as that stays right about there, dude, that means that our system is holding vacuum. Okay. And as long as it's holding vacuum, when we hook up the this tube here, and we dip this tube into the coolant tank, it'll just suck up coolant, and any air that's in the system will be replaced with coolant. Pretty cool, isn't it? Don't touch it. Keep an eye on that bad boy there. Looks like it's doing pretty good, actually.
It's not, it is, it's not, it is, it's not.
So let's go get our coolant. Alright, so what Dawson's doing here is we're just putting all our coolant here. So this is 2 gallons of coolant. I'm going to dump it all into a big bucket because you don't want any air to get in the system when you're doing this. And after I have that full of coolant, I'm then going to suck the coolant up this hose as far as I can, so that way there's no air bubble from here to there. No, I don't want you getting coolant in your mouth. Hold on. Don't leave. Oh no! Alright, here, show it here. We're going to open this up and it's going to start pulling coolant in. You should feel, no, don't push that.
What?
Just hold it. Down to 0. Oh, that worked. I don't think that worked at all, dude. I guess we'll find out, won't we? Turn it all the way. Keep going.
Other way?
Oh no! Yeah, let's open the door. We're good. Come on out here. Look. That's because because that thing had a bunch of coolant in it. It's all got to burn out of there. She started. She sounds good too. Yeah.
I didn't know it would do this.
It's awesome.
Can I turn it off?
No, not yet. Let's make sure it goes out of park. There's neutral.
Can we drive it? Can we drive it, Dad? Dad, can we drive it?
Not yet, buddy.
Okay.
Gotta check the coolant. There we go. Not smoking as much anymore. Sounds good, dude.
I'm getting some more.
Keep an eye on the antifreeze. Maybe it did bleed it out. I don't know. Looks like it might have. Let's see if it holds pressure. Put that on, and I'm also going to plug in the. That sucker there, OBD scanner. That way I can check the coolant temperature and make sure that it's not overheating. Gotta get there somehow. Awesome. Now rev it up, see if it revs up. Plenty of time to rev it up. Don't you worry about that. Ooh, it's a smoky little girl. Woo!
Scaring me.
Yeehaw! She sounds good, dude. Happy little putter there. Yep, that's the alternator. That means the belt, I installed it correctly.
It's hot when you put your leg a little close.
Your leg's on fire! Oh no!
It's not. It's on fire with slow.
What do you think, dude? This cool? Let's take a look at what these lights look like. You can still see them. They look fine.
But you can't see the bottom.
That's alright. Looks good, dude. See if I can hook that up now in neutral. No, not yet. And I'll see if that goes back into park. Ciao, dude. Figure out the old parking issue. I think it's just because the cable won't go far enough. So once I unhook the cable, no fans on, that's never a good sign. Alrighty, dude, rev her up a little. Good job, dude. Engine temps look good. They were not looking good there for a minute. I saw 230 degrees there. Had a bunch of air bubbles in the system. But now we got heat. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, turn it off. Uh-oh. My starter, my alternator just took a crap on us.
What?
The alternator just went out on us. Oh no, that's not good.
No.
That's a bummer. Well, I can't create this kind of drama, but apparently it just happens. The alternator, as you saw, decided it wanted to externally make voltage instead of internally making voltage, and that's never good. I did get the cooling system bled. I burned my finger doing it, but the way that I burned my finger, I did. Look, see? Burned my finger.
Whoa.
And the way I did it is that vacuum bleeder did not work at all. So either I did it wrong or it just didn't work at all. The way I actually bled the cooling system is I let the coolant cap off and I bled it right here. Grab this flashlight here. So I let it heat cycle a couple times, and right down here is the temperature gauge for your engine temperature. I just unscrewed that and I just let it air bleed out of there. And once it air bled a few times, did a couple cycles, it was fine. And as you saw, the temperatures dropped. I saw a temperature spike of like 230 degrees, so hopefully that didn't hurt anything. I don't think it did, because as soon as I pulled the plug on that and started filling the coolant back up, the temperature came right back down to about 200, and then I started the car and it dropped right down to like 170. So it's finally starting to cycle the coolant through the system, and we were just trying to get the car to warm up. I had the heat on. I was trying to get the coolant to go through the whole system, and just as it was about to get there, it was about 170, 175, right to where the thermostat was just about to open. I think that has a 185 or a 190 thermostat in it. I'm not 100% sure on that. Just as that was about to open up, I imagine, the alternator just started to spark. And it's not something that I can just pull the alternator belt to get the car to heat up to operating temperature, because the water pump and the alternator are on the same belt. So I have to pull the alternator and have the place that rebuilt it look at it. If it is still rebuildable now, I think a bearing might have just failed in it. But if it is still rebuildable, I'll have him rebuild it. If not, we'll have to get another one. The starter quit working as well. I was tapping on it with my extension to get it to turn over, so the starter also crapped out on me. I just can't make these things up, and I don't want to make them up because I just want to drive this car. All the work has been done. Now I just want to go drive it. It sounds good. It sounds healthy. I think more antifreeze got in that exhaust when I was trying to start that last engine than I thought, because it's slowly starting to burn all that stuff out. Plus, the flex pipe was never hooked up last time, so it's actually blowing exhaust into the muffler. So whatever's in that muffler is also smoking. So as soon as all that stuff gets cleared out, it doesn't look like it's going to smoke at all when it's running. But I guess we're going to have to do a part 7, part 8, whatever part we're on. And it did start snowing. So you're all snow covered, dude. What do you think? Are you bummed out we didn't get to drive it? Yeah, it's a bummer. But there's always next time, guys. And Dustin, you going to help me take the alternator and starter off? Alright, you have anything to say, dude? Okay. I guess that's going to wrap this video up, guys. I'm bummed. But thank you for checking out the video, guys. And I'm going to get cracking on getting those parts off, getting them out, getting them rebuilt. And then, fingers crossed, we can get this thing running and driving soon. Take it easy, guys. See you in the next upload.